24/7 Teachers Training, a lesson-by-lesson tutorial for homogeneous teaching. We are an EdTech textbook publishers.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear teacher. I welcome you on behalf of the Snowman publishers to an online tutorial on section 1 of the chapter 4 of Science Grade 4, which covers the topic States of Matter. The video will cover 3 states of matter, arrangement of particles in solids, liquids, and gases. So let's get started with the teaching plan. As in every lesson, greet the students pleasantly and ask them, "How are you?" Tell them that they'll be learning about matter. Explain that everything they can see, touch, feel is made of matter. All the objects they can think of, even themselves, are matter. Write the sentence, "All matter is made up of tiny particles." On the board, explain that matter is not all alike. It can be in one of the 3 forms, that is, solid, liquid, or gas. Give a brief definitions of 3 states of matter from the textbook. Then identify if students are able to differentiate between the 3 forms. As an activity, write the names of 15 to 20 objects or materials on the board, for example, chair, milk, gas, and the balloon, tree, juice, etc. And ask the students to write S in front of the material if it's a solid, G if it's a gas, and L if it's a liquid. Ask the students to give more examples of 3 states if they can think of some. Start explaining solid state of matter by writing the word solids on the board. Refer to the solid objects on the board and explain that they can be identified due to their fixed shape and volume. Bring a thermopole sheet in the class and gather the students around a table to help them observe closely. Tear a few pieces of the thermopole apart to show how tiny little balls are packed together tightly to form the solid sheet. Build on the findings of this observation and explain that all the solids we see are made up like this with tiny particles packed together tightly. Particles and solids are not visible to us because they are very tiny. Give them more examples with the help of the textbook and discuss solids in detail. Explain liquid state of matter by writing the word liquids on the board. Refer to the liquid objects on the board and explain that they can be identified due to their indefinite shape and volume. Ask these questions to clarify the concept. What happens if we pour a glass of water on the floor? Does the same happen if we drop a brick on the floor? Why? Can oil be put from a large gallon in a thin container? Can the same be done for a brick? Why? Arrange a clean container, some dust particles, and a spoon. Gather the students around a table to help them observe closely. Put sand particles in a container filled with water and give it a stir. Particles will appear to move randomly in the water. Explain that this is because particles in liquid have spaces in them and they move about freely. Thus, they carry dust randomly in all directions. Give some food for thought by asking, will the same happen if we drop the dust particles on a solid? Why won't they move freely? Explain liquids with the help of the textbook. Explain gaseous state of matter by writing the word gas on the board. Refer to the gaseous objects on the board and explain that they are difficult to identify due to their colorlessness and indefinite shape and volume. You may perform this activity to clarify the concept. Spray some air freshener at one corner of the room. Wait for some time and ask the students at the other corners if they can smell it. Then ask them these questions. How did the fragrance travel from one corner to everywhere in the room? Could you see the fragrance going everywhere? How did you identify that the fragrance had spread everywhere in the room? Build up on the responses to explain the characteristics of gases. give more examples with the help of the textbook. Wrap up the discussion with a challenging recap question. Why are gases difficult to identify? Why is it difficult to think of examples of gases? For homework, you can ask the students to find out 3 examples of each state of matter from around their home. Thank you, Honorable Teacher, for your listening, and Allah Hafiz.